I believe you are okay as well as I am. It is another day we are privileged by the Lord, to give us opportunity today to have a conversation over one or two pertinent issues that are prevailing around us. I'll start by one, trying to affirm for the Kenyan nation that we have stability in terms of our political setups. At the earlier days, we had the issues about the pronouncements of Mheshimiwa Sifuna, who is the SG of the Orange Democratic Movement. And as the Orange family were very categorical, even though we had naysayers who are saying that the pronouncements of Edwin Sifuna are tantamount to be Raila's opinions. I think at this point in time, the dust is settled. Everybody is cognizant of how the ODM commitment to the broad-based government is progressing. And so, God willing, we request everybody to operate along so that we have a unified country. At any given time, it is not right to try to encourage polarization amongst us, because we need one another to do everything that entails the country to go by. Now, the second aspect that is key when it comes to the issue of opposition, it is true at one point the aggrieved people will talk, but then it is very clear that we can never get a solution with no problem. And two, I've always said that whenever you are making a move, you have to recognize that the opponent will not sit rosy and will leave you to go away with it. So, if at all the opposition are trying to check the government, they should do it with the decorum. Because if they fail to do so, let them not expect the government to handle them with the, velvet gloves. And so, I really pity Bi Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka on the floor, because they don't expect people like Methu to just go and talk around aimlessly. Then they expect the government to sit down and praise them or sing for them Christmas carol. In this country, we have to know that we are guided by the rule of law, and so we have to go by that. So if at all they are not going to exercise that, I'm really very happy, or I'm privileged to be having attended an engineering class. I did some little physics, and that's why most of my reference point, I always want to go by the laws of the renowned physicians. Like when I talk about the government is likely to react the same way the opposition are trying to operate, I'll simply apply the Faraday second law that I always say every now and again. The active and reactive forces are equal but opposite. Expect me to exert the same force to counter the one you are bringing along to me. And so, the sanity in our politics, it will only be viable if the opposition are playing hygienic politics. But if they are not doing that, let them beware. The government will not allow them to do what they think that is bringing polarization or inciting the general public. Because the end game is very clear. If they are not contained, then we are going to have a banana republic. The avenues of the operations of the opposition from all dissenting voices are so started today. The Martha Karua knows during the Seven Sisters, they were doing the same, but they were not doing it aimlessly the way these other guys are doing it today. And so, let them not be crying babies. The only solution is that they style up and do things the right way. On top of that, as a person, I'm really worried kwa sababu when I see our neighboring countries behaving the way they are behaving, it perplexes me. If it is not Migingo, our fishermen are being caught by the Uganda police, then it is Tanzania banning our poultry, gagging our business people, and handling us the reckless way. That one notwithstanding, with us, we handle them with velvet gloves. We are their keepers. Like at this point in time, it doesn't work well or work well with us. We are the East Africa community. In fact, our president now is the chairperson. Then you realize the Tanzanian government is passing punitive rules simply to contain Kenyans. What is so wrong with us? I think for us not to have a strained relationship as neighbors, if at all it means we have to talk, I think it is good riddance. Samia Suluhu should engage her partner in Kenya or in Uganda or in South Sudan for that matter, so that we have a amicable way of how we are handling problems. Because business equally, you can never prosper business-wise if there's no competition. So the inferiority complex the Tanzanians are experiencing should not go overboard, because if they try to exercise that, sometimes it is not going to work well. Because like now in Kenya, we've accommodated so many people. I don't say we don't have cripples in Kenya, but if you do your statistical analysis, the cripples begging here left and right in Nairobi, huh? Out of 10 of them, 8 are Tanzanians. But we've never made a shout out of that, because we know at one point it is not right. It is not right to do what? To celebrate when your brother or your sister is challenged physically. And so their PWDs are everywhere in Kenya, begging around. And we give them, not that we have, because we have excess, but we treat them as our brothers and sisters. Does not mean we don't have cripples in our villages. We have them, but they don't come to town, because I think they have a name to protect. But if the Tanzanians feels begging is just normal, we've appreciated that. And so their government must be cognizant of our good relations with them. And if at all they are going to go that go expressive there they are doing, I don't think we are going to take it lightly. We really request the president of Tanzania to rise up to the occasion and do things the right way. Kenyans, we don't have issues with them, and we've never had. We are always very cordial to our neighboring countries. In fact, even in the job market, they are there. And there's never time our government has really sanctioned them to have work permits. They walk in, work and go. They walk in, work and go. But when it comes to our issue, everywhere they give us stringent measures. So if at all we are going to go that route, I think it is not going to augur well as neighbors. And so I really request the relevant authority in Kenya to try to engage their partners in Tanzania, so that we live with our brothers from there here peacefully. They live with our people there peacefully, so that we will grow as a society. Because we cannot live as an island. We have to live as a family. Otherwise, without that, I'll not stop by not saying totem, and everybody should embrace the totem concept. Let us work out this government and try to develop the challenges that are impelling us, to see a people who always complains. That's what does not mean we don't have problems. But equally, you have to understand, Rome wasn't built in a day. And with the 2 years or 3 years Mheshimiwa Rais is worked, I think there are one or two things we can talk about that are positive. Having said that, even if somebody will come in after Mheshimiwa Rais, we still have challenges. But how do we go about them? We have just to rise to the occasion, so that we can be counted, kusudi tuweze kupata jamii ambao kila mtu anafurahia kuishi. Thank you very much. Yes. 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 Yes.
The same thing Gachagua was fighting when he was in office.
Yes.
And the government failed to implement. Now we're seeing Murkomen trying to revive it. Is it a double speed for the government? And what's your opinion?
Let me tell you. To start with, a quick one. Myself, I'm not a party to drugs and hard substances, because I have a living experience. Some of these things, we are learned customers. It is not that today I don't take any, but during my college days, I was taking my first 3 years in employment. When I thought money was money, I was taking it properly. But the experience I had from there tells me, even if the government could have a way, I don't think it resonates well by so saying these substances are also factored in our exchequer. I think even if they are done away with, not that we are not going to grow. There are countries we don't have drugs, but they survive. So drug is not something we should even discuss. Even the measures I did see them put around, they are not enough. But I think because they are cognizant that at least everybody to be given the opportunity to make informed opinion, they are trying to handle it individually. And per se, there's no double speak there. What I can tell you for a fact, government programs runs gradually. And that's why at one point you might realize there's a place was earmarked for a market. You realize that place marked for a market, 40 years down the memory line, the market has not been built. These are people who stayed there, gave birth there, children are overgrown, parents passed on. But when now the government starts to work out that concept, you'll realize people are complaining that our forefathers were staying here and now we are being evicted. Government programs are always very gradual and programmed properly. So it is true Mheshimiwa Gachagua started the program. That the end game is, it cannot be something that is spontaneous. It's just pronounced today and implemented the following day. I'll liken you at the same case with the Mau evictions. Mau eviction started with Mheshimiwa Kibaki. When was it fully implemented? Does not mean when it was Kibaki it was power game. No, it was only that it has to have undergo a certain process mpaka mali pale itakamilika. And so I give accolades to the people who started the process, and I equally affirm the positivity Mheshimiwa Murkomen and his team are working on when it comes to drugs and armed substances. If you go to coast, you'll agree with me. That's where you will get somebody, you call them zombies. Somebody doesn't understand him or herself, and it becomes so worse. Thank you. On issues tendering process, my friend, let me tell you, there are things we should learn to chill. It is not about expressway alone. Some of these things we simply sell them because of the reputation that of the people that are involved. The society is filthy, and we can never purport to try to pull every trigger. Because even if you leave the expressway, there was this privatization of JKIA that was supposed to be given by Adani. Believe me, you, as general citizenry, we are blocking Adani, trying to reason out that it is corruption. But even the people running JKIA today is private. Who is running JKIA? Who doesn't know it is run by Kenyatta family? Who doesn't know? NAS is run by Kenyatta family. KQ is a good percentage of the shares of Kenyatta family. So these things, as general public, I always say, let us learn to chew what we bite what we can chew. Because if we try to go holistically on every aspect, we are not going to have a country. Are you getting that? And so the expressway concept, at one point, even before the election, it was said it was a Kenyatta family project. So these things, it is only that they are being given out to the general public, sometimes positively or sometimes for political expedition. But the truth of the matter is, we have a filthy society. That's why sometimes when I stand supporting Mheshimiwa William Ruto, I know what I'm talking about. Because some of these things we started seeing as early as 90s. But now when they come to the fore today, you operate as if they started yesterday. Like even if you go our normal lifestyle of human being, when today you get a bell bottom, long trouser, somebody else putting it on, you say it is a fashion. Bell bottom was worn in 80s. Are you getting what I'm saying? The last question, please.
Just a quick one on that.
Yes.
Can you explain to Kenyans how it happened? Because we saw in the day saying that the Kenyatta family is getting almost 1 billion in terms of profit.
Yes.
From that company. And yet, it was a project that was supported by China. That company. What exactly happened?
Thank you very much. Per se, I might not talk much, but what I can tell you for free, get it right from me. These PPP projects, all these things that we call concessional programs, at one point, Kenyans, we've had bad manners to an extent that you cannot imagine. Like today, we are going to run a project in Rironi Mau Summit Road at a tune of 265 billion. Are you getting what I'm saying? But get me right. You might realize the partnership is not realistically with the Kenya government. The partnership might be is between our serious partner But the input of the Kenya government is holistically done by individuals. We've had Kenya where institutions, government institutions are being bought by individuals in the name of foreign companies. But these foreign companies, the real directors are Kenyans. Are you getting what I'm saying? So the Kenyatta family minting money out of that, to me, is not an issue. I don't always want to talk about it. What I want to talk about as Kenyans, let us learn to be progressive. In fact, pessimism tuache kwa vitu zetu. Mimi usiziita attitude of negative thinking. Ushaona? If in any other time you have attitude of negative thinking, kwako kila kitu haiwezekani, you will not grow. Like if we now start digging everything that Uhuru Kenyatta did, we are not going to go anywhere. Because really, even this current government, people are abusing Ruto with. A good number are Uhuru's guys. A good number are Moi's guys. A good number are Kenyatta's guys. In their in late days, they are almost going out. But you see, when Gachagua says a share, at one point, we'll castigate him because it is a narrative. We don't want to do what? To conform in our brains. But the truth of the matter is, we've had a system where somebody was a senior police commandant in the 80s. That guy, you realize, his or her son is a senior police officer today. And that guy, at the lower level, as a grandson, who is also a police officer. So the truth of the matter that is there is that these things are interjoined. Yes, thank you very much.